Hello, chemistry citizens. We're going to talk about the items that we did last week in chemistry class, which we did the flame demo, we did a mass lab, and we worked on a little bit of graphing. So in this video, we're going to talk about the flame demo, hopefully, and explain a little bit. You can understand it to get ready for that quiz that we're going to have. So the flame demo, what we did is we essentially did something called the whoosh bottle. You can YouTube that. You can look it up. There's a whole bunch of videos out there that can help you with if you need to remember what we did. So look up the whoosh bottle. All right, in the whoosh bottle, what we did is we had a jug and we had a carbon fuel source. Our carbon fuel source that we used, that we're going to represent with circles, was alcohol. Okay, we know alcohol is highly flammable. It's a good fuel source. We use it for lots of different things. They use it in rockets, or they used to use it in rockets. If you've ever seen the movie October Sky, that's how that kind of all got started. Also, in this jug, there's air. Okay, but the air, we're not worried about all the parts of the air. We're worried about one important part, which is the air that we breathe, which we're going to represent with X. We breathe oxygen. So oxygen is also in this bottle. It always takes up space. These molecules are moving around. They are running into each other, but they're not running into each other with enough speed or energy to do anything, to cause a chemical reaction. So what we need to do is we need to make them move faster. So how do we make them move faster? We add energy. Okay? We added a match or a flame, which is energy. And now these molecules are moving really fast. Before they were moving fast, now they're moving faster. Okay, they're running into the sides of the container, they're running into each other, they're going all over the place. And when they run into each other, they break apart and reform into different compounds. And how do we know that? And how do we know that's going on? Because we see signs of what's going on. The signs that we are looking for, which are the signs of a chemical reaction. That's the abbreviation for reaction, RXN. We saw one of those signs, and one of those signs was a color change. So we saw flames. We saw blue flames, we saw yellow flames, we saw a little bit of red, maybe orange too. So when we have a color change, this delta symbol, triangle, delta means change. So we saw a color change, which was the flames. We also saw an energy change, or some of us heard it too. Delta symbol means change, so energy change. We heard the sound, we heard the whoosh, we felt it, it was heat, it was hot. So remember, and we saw the light, which was the flames. So energy takes a lot of different forms here. It's light, it's heat, it's the sound that's made. So make sure you guys realize that energy is a pretty encompassing term, or very general term. The third sign of a chemical reaction that we saw more in the mass lab was a precipitate forms. Okay, a precipitate forms. So what's a precipitate? It's when a liquid makes a solid. And another sign of a chemical reaction took place would be you saw gas or bubbles given off. So new gas or bubbles. So these are the four signs of a chemical reaction. We know that something happened. And in this whoosh bottle reaction, we saw these first two. We saw a color change, we saw blue and orange flames, and we saw energy change. We felt the heat, we heard it, and it gave off light. So there's lots of stuff going on. So once the reaction takes place, now we don't have alcohol and oxygen anymore. Now we have new compounds. The new compounds that we have, which we're going to represent with a square and a triangle, the square is going to represent carbon dioxide. So we have carbon dioxide now, and we have water, H2O. Okay. So we made new compounds, therefore a chemical reaction took place. This is the chemistry that we need to explain. So you need to realize that these molecules are moving, but they're not moving with enough energy here in the before picture. We added energy to make them move really fast and cause the chemical reaction. And then once the chemical reaction happened, we made new compounds. All right, CO2 and H2O. In this little demo, we saw some different colored flames. We saw a blue flame and kind of an orangish red flame, kind of yellowish too. What's the difference between a blue flame and an orange flame? think of it in terms of efficiency. The bluer the flame, the more oxygen is present or being used. So we have ample amount of oxygen being used. When we have an orange or a red or a yellow flame, we have oxygen, but we don't have enough to complete the reaction. In other words, we're not making the appropriate amount of CO2 or H2O. Now we're going to have stuff left over like soot, which is carbon, and things like that. So the scientific term for flammability that we just saw in this whoosh bottle is called combustion. Combustion's formula, general formula for right now, is going to be you have a carbon fuel source. The C is the element symbol for carbon. So we're going to say carbon fuel, which was the alcohol. We reacted it with, so that's the alcohol here, the carbon fuel source. Reacted with oxygen, O2. And what did we add into the mixture? We added heat. Okay, so this heat came right up here. This is the energy, the flame. We made, in these other products, CO2, which comes from here, CO2, and H2O. That's what happens when you see a campfire, when you see a flame burning on a candle. The bluer the flame, the more complete it is. What's called complete combustion. The orange or more red or more yellow the flame, the least amount of oxygen is available, or a little amount of oxygen is available. So next time you guys look at the flame, you're probably not going to view it the same way, and you can thank me for it later. All right, hope this video worked out good. Give me some feedback. We'll talk to you soon. Have a good day.